Now look, I've installed mid-frame air deflectors before, so I really expected this to go pretty darn smoothly, but it didn't. I'm not the type to edit things so that it seems so all simple and smooth. So here you go. Enjoy the attempt, the problems, the fixes, and the final results of my new carbon fiber air deflectors. Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be doing the last mod in the build series for my 2021 Road Glide Special. This was not planned. I actually finished my build a couple of months ago. However, because of an incident that occurred with my fender, and if you didn't see that video, I'll put a card here, the link to that video. I don't know what side it's going to drop on. I've had to put a couple more parts on. We replaced the fender in the last video with a carbon fiber fender from Hoffman Designs. And today what we're going to do is to put on mid-frame air deflectors, carbon fiber, look really nice. These are from Carbon Visionary. And really super excited to get these on, have this build finished. I'm going to say it what I usually say, and hopefully it's not going to turn out any differently. This should be a fairly straightforward install. Now, one thing that you need to know is that Carbon Visionary does not include the hardware that you need to attach these to the bike. So I've bought parts, those parts from Harley, and I'll throw a picture of that up here on the screen, as well as put the part numbers down in the description of this video below. But the parts include Speednuts. Now when you buy, at least when I got the kit, the Speednut kit, it came with both the Speednuts that we need for the newer bikes that have the holes already drilled in the frame, and I'll show you more about that in a second, as well as some Speednut clips for older bikes. Then you also get 4 bolts and 4 washers with that. As far as tools, we'll need a 7/16 socket. You'll also need a 7/16 spanner, and it would be really good if you have a spanner with a ratchet. Even better if this is canted a little bit and not straight like mine is here. And then of course you need a ratchet, and I'm going to torque these down. There's actually a process that we have to go through with these Speednuts. So I have a torque wrench, and not needed necessarily, but I'm using some plumber's tape, and I'll show you a little bit about that in a minute. You'll also be handy if you had a trim tool to pop the spark plugs out of the frame if yours are inserted. And I'm using a flashlight because I need light. So let's go over, take a look at the bike. We'll walk through what we're going to do, and then we'll do the install. The first thing that you want to do to install this is to pull your spark plug cables back out of the frame. They'll be attached with these little zip tie clips. You can either work those back and forth by hand or get a little trim tool like I've got here and then pop those out. The airframe deflector is actually going to fit behind the spark plug wires. There's 2 mounting holes here we're using. The first one is here. It's not threaded. That's what we're going to use this barrel for. We're going to put this in, and then we are going to use a bolt and a washer to attach the deflector through that. As you screw this bolt in, this little barrel is going to expand, and it will make sure that that stays attached. But what I'm going to do is use a little plumber's tape, and I'm going to put that around this barrel so that I get just a little bit more grip. The second hole is located here. This one is already threaded. There should be a nut that is welded onto the frame. So we'll use a bolt and washer to go up through the bottom of the deflector and then tighten this down. This is what you need the little spanner for, the 7/16 spanner. because you won't be able to get a socket here. It's too close to the head of the engine. Now, before I do anything, I'm going to go ahead and dry fit the deflector here. Make sure those cables come down underneath. That's going to go right there. Right there. And those holes, there's holes in the deflector that should line up, this one with the bottom one and then this one with the top one. If you get confused, for the Carbon Visionary deflectors, there's a number on the bottom, HD for Harley, and then there's a -R and a -L. The -R is the right one or the throttle side, and the -L is the left one or the clutch side. There's my little barrel with the plumber's tape on it, and the first thing that we're going to do here with that is I'm going to insert that in, push that all the way in so that it's flush, and that is really in there with that plumber's tape. And then we want to take a bolt and a washer, and what we're going to do is we're going to prime this. We're going to go ahead and expand this that little barrel. So that's in. And now we want to torque this to 60 inch-pounds. I've got my torque wrench here. So that should have expanded that little barrel inside the frame. And now we can take that out. Okay, that is all set up. So I'm not going to shoot this because I've got to get to a really weird angle here to get in and get this done. But all we're going to do is slide this in place, and then we're going to use the bolt and washer to attach it here, and then a bolt and washer to attach it there. So I'll be right back when that's done. So that's where I hit a problem. Let's take a look at the Advan black deflector that I took off and the Carbon Visionary deflector to see the difference between the two and what threw me for a curve. You can see that the Advan black deflector has two holes on the top. It's that second hole that aligns with the threaded nut that I had expected to mount this to. The Carbon Visionary deflector only has one hole, and it aligns with the unthreaded hole in the frame that requires you to attach the Speednut clip. So to install that Speednut, pull the spark plug wires out of the frame where they're snapped in. This will make it much, much easier for you to slide that Speednut into position through the large hole that's there in the frame. Then clip the spark plug wires back into place once that's on. I was feeling really good about things when I got that done, but then I had a bigger problem. The length of the bolts from the mounting kit are too long. As I tried to get the bolt to catch in the Speednut, the head of the bolt was hitting the rear cylinder and preventing me from getting the right angle so that I could get that started by hand. After screwing around, trying to figure out a way around this for what seemed like an eternity, I finally just said screw it, and I decided to shorten the bolt. I cut about 3 threads off the bolt and was able to easily get the bolt threaded into the Speednut at that point. Yay. The good news is that you do not need a Speednut for the clutch side. The hole in the Carbon Visionary for the clutch side is aligned with the nut that is soldered onto the frame. I want to give a huge shout out to Don over at Quantico Harley-Davidson. He helped me get this whole Speednut thing sorted, and then he even went an extra mile to help me tap the nut on the clutch side when I discovered that was jacked up. Don, as always, you're my hero. With that, the mid-frame air deflectors from Carbon Visionary are installed. What a joy that installation was. Now let's go have a look at the bike now that both the deflectors and the new carbon fiber fender are on the bike. Well, that was about 8 bags of fun, wasn't it? But the parts are on and they look, well, let me show you. I think it looks really nice. Those air deflectors really do a good job of tying in the fender. I'm not going to lie, I was kind of like, you know, fender looks good, but wasn't sure until I got the air deflectors on, and that really does a good job of tying that in. I think it looks really nice. Here's a closer look of at the air deflectors, or the air deflector. This is the right side. And there's the fender. But yeah, I think she looks really nice. Let's go around the other side. Huge shout out again to Don out at Quantico Harley-Davidson for helping me get that problem I was having with the threading over here sorted out. So there you have it. And with that, the build of my 2021 Road Glide Special is finished. Took me a little over a year and a half, but I'll do a video about that later when I get back from South Africa. We'll do a walk around the bike and talk about all the mods that I've put in place as part of this build. Do a couple of, or a few, 25,000 mile reviews on some of these parts. So installs suck. They never go like planned, but at the end of the day, we get them done. You guys take care. I'll talk to you later. I'm going to go back, edit these videos, and then start packing for South Africa. See you there. Take care. Peace.